All right, let's get into some picks here. The Chiefs are favored by 7 in this one. I'll start things off. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with the Patriots. And I'm not just picking the Patriots. I'm picking pro football because all of our hopes for pro football are hinging in New England right now. Because if they can't beat the Chiefs, then who the heck can? So come on, Cam. Show us it's not a fluke. You are the guy we think you are and that you've always been. Get the W. Cynthia, who you got?
Well, I'm following Rex Burkhead and an upset pick, and I'm going to sound a little boring when I call for a decently close game. I have 29-20. The Chiefs win this one. I just think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have a little too much juice this year against the Patriots in that defense that we've seen vulnerabilities in.
Yeah, I want to see this game in December or January. I think the Patriots will be better than right now. I don't think their defense can handle it. 31-23. I have an 8-point difference right there. Stephon Gilmore and that Patriots secondary not playing as well this year as they did a year ago. The Bears are underdogs in this game by 2.5 points. And you know what? I'm going against the Bears again. I have the Colts winning this game. I think they're better on both sides on the line. I think they win this game by 5 points. I just trust them. I trust the coaching. I trust them in the trenches.
So you have the Colts by 5 points, and I have the Bears by 4 points. So that's 9 points different. That's pretty big. I have 23-19 in favor of the Bears. I just think when you look at those Colts numbers, you have to remember who they played. Kirk Cousins, 3 turnovers. Sam Darnold, at least 2 pick sixes. Like, these are big deals, and that sways the numbers and really skews them. So for me in this matchup, it's David Montgomery really be adding some consistency there, and the Bears win this one at home.
I like that what you mean about the schedule the Colts have faced so far this season. You know, but I'm going with the Colts too. And you know what, Greg, you would be beating me in our season record of picks had you gone with the Bears. I picked the Bears a couple of times, which is why I think I'm 2 games ahead of you. But I'm going with the Colts, not because of the schedule or the strength or lack thereof, strength in their schedule. No one knows Nick Foles better than Frank Reich. Frank Reich knows Nick Foles better than Nick Foles knows Nick Foles. So for that reason, I suspect a great game plan, understanding his strengths, and I think the Colts come out with a victory. All right, let's get to some picks. I love all of that. The Cowboys are favored by 4.5. My Browns fans are going to hate me and hit me up on Twitter, but I'm going with the Cowboys.
Wow.
I am. I think those weapons, to your point, Greg, you're right. The Cowboys have a lot of weapons, and they are starting to get their rhythm a little bit. They have 3 number 1 receivers on their team, not 2. They have 3 number 1 receivers, and I am confident that will prove true in just a couple of seasons. But, yeah, they have a lot of firepower, and I think it's going to be tough for the Browns to set the pace that they have been setting early in the season.
All right, I have a 5-point win by the Cowboys, 29-24. I think the interesting part in this one is the Browns secondary is getting healthier, but like you said, those 3 wide receivers, they're huge difference makers, especially when you have Ezekiel Elliott as a threat to rush out of the backfield or catch passes out of the backfield on every single down.
I have the Cowboys winning by 7. They probably are going to get Tyron Smith back. It really looks like that, and that's huge, facing Myles Garrett. So you know it's going to be a shootout. Every Cowboys game is a shootout. This time they win.
All right, the Bills are favored by 3.5 over the Raiders. It's time for some picks. I am going with the Bills, okay? You talked about it. They had trouble with the OG Cam Newton, and now they're going to have trouble with the young Cam Newton, Josh Allen, and I got to respect any receiving core whose top 3 receivers are under 6 foot. They hold a special place in my heart.
That's our guys.
Cynthia, what do you got?
All right, well, I'm sticking with the same theme. I have Bills 26, Raiders 24. I think it's going to be a 2-point game, so a little closer than expected because the Raiders, they managed to get those risk-it-biscuit type of situations, and they kind of make them work for them, right, with the deep passes and some deep gashes, kind of when you don't expect it. So I really like what this – I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch.
I think the Bills win more comfortably. I love this pick. This is my favorite pick of the week, the Bills winning by 6. Part of it is because of injuries. The Raiders lost Damon Arnett, their cornerback. They lost their top 2 receiver picks. Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs is doubtful, so it's not the Raiders offense that we expect. I'm really looking forward to this one. The Bucs are favored by 7 in this game. I have the Bucs winning by 6. I don't trust this Bucs offense quite yet. If you've watched it, 24th in yards per play, they're not quite there. They don't have Chris Godwin this week, and so I think the Chargers defense keeps it close enough.
They also don't have Leonard Fournette for your fantasy purposes. For me, I still have an 8-point win in this one, 28-20. Make sure to get Mike Evans in everywhere. I think that's a tease for something coming up. but ultimately you still have some great options. Scotty Miller as well.
I love that. I'm going with Tom Brady. It's weird to watch Tom Brady play against quarterbacks who are old enough or young enough to be his son. Although Frank Gore and his son are trying to be, the latest father-son duo. I don't think there ever was a father-son duo in football, but in sports, Tom Brady. I wish he would have had a son earlier so we can watch him, pound on his rookie son. But this week it'll be Justin Herbert. We got the Vikings at the Texans. The Texans are favored by 3.5. This is a tough game. These are two teams who have struggled early on. The Texans have got a tough draw with just their schedule to open the season. But as the old saying goes, it's not the X's and the O's. It's the Jimmies and the Joes. So if I'm going to pick a team, I'm going with the Texans because I think Deshaun Watson is going to play better than our guy Kid Cuzzy in this matchup, and they're going to walk away with their first win of the season. Cynthia, what do you got?
I completely agree with you on this one. I think it's 4 Texans won by 4 points. I think that it's going to be interesting to see Brandon Cooks maybe emerge as a fantasy option that you might want to consider. Yes, Will Fuller is going to play, and we've seen it, but there's some sneaky good matchups that he's had. And I know that, we got some sneaky good things coming up here, but sneaky good fantasy play, probably Brandon Cooks.
Thank you for the tease, Cynthia. I've got the Texans, too. I have them winning by 3 points. To Hawk's point, with the Jimmies and the Joes, Deshaun Watson is the Jimmy, and Kirk Cousins, sorry, buddy, you're the Joe. Watson played great to start last week. I know he didn't finish out the game well, but he made so many good throws against a really good Steelers defense in the first half of the game. It reminded me, hey, this is still Deshaun Watson. I just can't imagine him going 0-4. I think he gets the win. What's next, Ricky?
Eagles at 49ers. Okay, hear me out. A cheesesteak on San Francisco sourdough. Be right back. Going to make a sandwich.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good. I like the 49ers in this game. They are favored by 7. I have them winning by 5 points. It's crazy. Nick Mullins is starting, and he played so well a week ago. It's really a credit to Kyle Shanahan. And it kind of gets you thinking, comparing him to the other side of the ball, Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson. It's like one of those coaches has a lot of injuries and is helping out his quarterback a lot. The other coach has a lot of injuries. Are they really helping out Carson Wentz as much? I don't know. Mullins did well against pressure, but he also made a lot of good throws, and he's got an unreal coach. So the 49ers get the win.
I'm with you on the winner. I have a much bigger score differential, though. I have 27-19 in favor of the Niners. I think those turnovers by Carson Wentz are a problem, especially when this team is so good at running the ball. When you see, it doesn't matter kind of who, it's outside, it's inside. They target exactly where the run game of the opponent is vulnerable, and they just go right at it. And that will drain the clock and make Carson Wentz, if he has any turnovers, really pay for them even more. I mean, you could even consider Jeff Wilson in this game if you're looking for a fantasy running back.
It's tough. I mean, watching the slide that we've seen from Carson Wentz has been it's been excruciating. He's really pressing. You can tell it's getting to him a little bit. He's seeing ghosts out there with the defense. He's not making the right throw. He doesn't look like the polished quarterback or even the MVP candidate we've seen a while ago. I mean, heck, Nick Mullins is on the actual advertisement for the game and not Carson Wentz. That tells you everything you need to know. I got the 49ers getting the W. That's right. We're talking Saints versus the Lions. The Saints are favored by 3 in this one. I'm going with the Saints. I think that even though Michael Thomas is out, Drew Brees will rise to the occasion and get the offense rolling a little bit. I also think that Alvin Kamara is going to have a pretty big game. What about you, Cynthia?
I'm completely with you. I have a 5-point Saints win, 28-23 in this matchup. I know there's a lot of injuries, and I know a lot of people aren't playing, but that's when they're going to rise to the occasion. You know why? Because this is a defense that's able to be targeted in many different ways. You're right about Alvin Kamara having a huge game, probably even 2 touchdowns. I mean, let's keep the streak alive.
Ooh, I was tempted to take the Lions before I knew all the Saints injuries. Now I'm taking them. Lions to win this game. Enough of the Lions hate, Cynthia. Marcus Davenport's out. Janoris Jenkins is out. Marshawn Lattimore is out. Jared Cook is out. I mean, Michael Thomas is out, by the way, too. I think the Lions get to 2-2. Next up on our quick picks, we have the Dolphins and the Seahawks. The Dolphins are an underdog in this game by 6.5 points. I have the Seahawks winning easy. The only reason the Dolphins won a game is because they confused the opposing quarterback. You can't confuse Russell Wilson. This is totally different than Thursday night football against the Jaguars. It's Sunday morning football against the Seahawks. Russ is going to cook. Cynthia, what you got?
I've got a 7-point Seahawk win, 30-23 in this one. Remember, Jamal Adams is out, and that's an interesting problem for the defense in terms of getting pressure. But it'd be a problem if it was a little bit more competitive game, because on the other side of the ball, it's Russ against that defense that's been very targetable. So I'm with you, a nice touchdown win for Seattle.
I'm going Seattle as well. Like I said, I perfectly predicted the Russell Wilson MVP tour. It continues this week against the Dolphins. They're going to wait for him to throw the ball over the field, thinking they're going to stop it, and they're not. He's going to throw it anyway and have a huge game. Next up, we got the Giants at the Rams, and the Rams are favored by 13 in this one. You know, I'm going with the Rams. Their offense is clicking, and the Giants are like every at-home workout that I've purchased in quarantine to my midsection. Nothing is working. So I expect the Rams to win big. Cynthia, what do you got?
I mean, in the commercial, I'm completely with you. 31-16 is my margin of victory, so 15 points in this matchup. I think the Rams have a nice get-right game after that crazy game that they had against the Bills last week.
Yeah, I have the Rams winning 30-14. If Hawk is going to pat himself on the back for saying Russell Wilson is good, it's like, ooh, really out on the limb there. I'm going to point out that I had the Rams going deep in the playoffs before this season even started. I love this offense, especially with Darrell Henderson. Our next game, Monday Night Football, Green Bay, Atlanta. I think Matty Ice puts on a show. Green Bay wins this game, though, 34-30. What a mismatch when Atlanta is trying to rush the passer and get after Aaron Rodgers. You're just not going to get to him with that pass rush. Matty Ice, though, Julio Jones is probably back in this game, so I think there's a lot of points. It should be a fun one.
Should be a really fun one, and I think the Falcons will be leading at halftime, so going into the second half, Falcons lead. But fortunately for them, if you're a Falcons fan, it does not end in your favor in my model. 31-26, Packers win this game. Aaron Jones is a huge factor, and Aaron Rodgers stays free from pressure, which is a theme we've seen all season long. He has not been under a ton of pressure, and that will not change in this one.
I mean, if you're going to pat yourself on the back, Greg, you got to, address your early loving of the Atlanta Falcons, because that has not lived up to the hype at all. I'm going Packers winning big in this one. And for Atlanta fans, don't worry, you will not blow a fourth quarter lead, because you will not have one. Packers win big. Next up, we got the Cardinals at the Panthers. The Cardinals are favored by 5 in this one. I am going with the Cardinals. I do expect Teddy Bridgewater to have a good game in the passing game. That running game for the Panthers has really struggled, so I think they're going to put more onus on Teddy Bridgewater and his ability to throw it all over the field. But I do think Kyler Murray has a huge game, and the Arizona Cardinals come away with the win. They're building some nice rapport there in Arizona. What do you got, Cynthia?
Absolutely. I love it. I have a 5-point win right now, 28-23. And you said they were favored by 5. I would say it could be even bigger than that. Why? Because the Cardinals have been able to establish the run through their quarterback, through their running back. And in this one, against this defense who's had a hard time stopping the run, it's going to keep things on the ground, meaning no turnovers for Kyler Murray.
I have the Cardinals winning by 1 point only, 29-28. But tune in Sunday morning. DeAndre Hopkins, who you're seeing right now, is a game-time decision. So is Christian Kirk. If those guys are out, if Nuke is out, I think I'm flipping to the Panthers. Hawk mentioned I'm trailing right now in the picks. I'm like Jameis Winston when he falls down in a game. I'm just going to start chucking it up, hoping for the best, go for some upsets. I'm sure that'll work out great. Another game I'm looking forward to this weekend, Ravens versus Washington. The Ravens are favored by 14 points. The Battle of I-95. I don't know if that's what they call it, but they should, and this won't be much of a battle. The Washington football team is missing Chase Young. They're missing Matt Ioannidis. If they don't have a good defensive line, I don't really know what they do have, so Baltimore should have a nice get-right game.
I'm completely with you. I have 30-16 in this one. Could be even bigger. 30-15 is kind of where I'm looking. I don't think that the Washington is going to be able to live up to their end of the bargain in terms of scoring points, though. So it is going to be Ravens points and not a lot of Washington points in this one.
Yeah, this is a bounce-back game for the Baltimore Ravens in this battle of the DMV, and I don't think anybody who lives down there wants to be to be called that they live in the DMV. But I think the Ravens bounce back. You watch Washington struggle against Kyler Murray and that mobile quarterback, and just imagine how much they're going to struggle against the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson, coming off of a game where everyone is now questioning, his trajectory. He's going to have a lot of fire in his eyes, and I expect a big game out of Lamar Jackson. Unfortunately for the Washington football team, they're going to have to deal with it. All right, next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by 3 in this one, and I'm going with the Bengals. I think the Bengals and Joe Burrow get their first win of the season. We watched them lose. We watched them lose a close one. We watched them tie, and I think this is the week they get over the hump. Joe Burrow gets his first W because Joe Burrow is solidified as the real deal. You heard it here first if you haven't heard it already. What do you got, Cynthia?
I have the exact opposite. I'm glad you're going to be allowed back in Ohio, though. I have 25-23. The Jags upset because the Bengals win in the first half, but the Jags win at the end.
Yeah, I have a very similar score. Jaguars 30-28. They get the upset, and I like it when Cynthia and I have like the same upset, and it's because the best offense in this game is run by Gardner Minshew. I really believe in it, that the Jaguars had a bad game on Thursday Night Football, but this is a good matchup. Geno Atkins is not in this game. I mean, what are you really seeing that you like out of the Bengals defense right now, Hawk?
Pride in my team, okay? That's all that matters.